sometimes you do not want to do that. Sometimes you just want to find an easy way out. So the easy way out in this case is that I could get a map uh, from the internet. And I would rather look for a map which is simpler and easier to look at. And generally, these kind of maps, the ones that have a little less of visual info in them, are the ones that we pick for these tasks. Because if there's too much of visual information, you probably might not get the kind of results that you would like to get. So this is one that has little visual info. This is the one that just has uh, and I would preferably want to pick PDF maps because they are better to work with. With GIS software these days, you can actually. The thing is that these PDF files are easy to work with. Uh, like for these PDF files are easy to open and work with. What you could do is you could probably pick a PDF file. Generally, what we do is we can pick any PDF file that we want. So this is one file that I would sort of download and then convert it into a PDF, or you could do otherwise. So I could download it to my downloads folder. And what we usually do with these maps is we go online and we convert them into SVG files. So these SVG files computer and you can convert that into SGF SVG vectors. When you do that, what you get is you're going to get a very lightweight vector format, support vector graphics format that you can import in your QGIS software. And then without having to create the manual vectors, you can actually georeference it and convert it into a map. These PDF to SVG converters or these image to SVG converters are available online. Uh, all that you need to do is just click on the download vector button and you will have the SVG file downloaded for you. If you click on it, you will be able to open it on in your browsers or in a software called Inkscape. Uh, what I would do here is I would want to open this layer here. So what I could do is I can add layer. This is the SVG that I just downloaded. And if you see the SVG, sorry, scalable vector graphics option, you have it here with you. So you can pretty much just select them, add, and close. For some reason, it's unable to, no, it should be actually able to understand this data type. Let me try again, because this is a valid data type that we are adding. So it is .svg. Well, that's interesting. It says so. And try to use some other utility to create it, maybe adopt. This shouldn't have been an issue, since I've done it a lot of times and this actually reduces my workload. I'm not going to sign in right now. I'll probably do it. So it's a pretty strange case. I'm really sorry. For some reason, it's showing invalid data while actually it's supposed to be valid because an SVG option is available. That's not a lot of worry that I have. So there's a utility called Inkscape. You can always open this file in there to check if it's a valid SVG file. It's a free software, Inkscape again. You can download it from the internet. What I'll do is I'll go into Inkscape. I'll try to remove the unnecessary material from it and then see what works. And I will. So generally should not be too too troubling though. Hmm. Let me try to open it again and see what works. No, I'm sorry for some strange reason that I do not understand at the moment. With this particular version, I think it's not working. But generally, this is what you could do is you could actually convert them and then georeference those files here. Nevertheless, this is one thing that we could do. You can try it on your own, and some of you might be successful. I'll try to look into it later on and see what the issue was, but I thought that was something very basic that we do, and it would not require me to debug while in during the lecture. So I'll check why it's happening. Probably it's a version difference or some other issue that I do not understand. Sometimes we need to obviously export our maps because we need to show it to clients. We need to show it to people in presentations. And for that, there is something that QGIS offers. So I thought maybe I'll show you that. So I'll go back, I'll change the symbology again back to something that is standard. And then what I would do is I would like to create this kind of a map uh, for export. Generally, whenever we are creating maps, one thing that we do is uh, we do not have maps in the way they look on our screen, presented or shown to people. One thing that we can do is you can go to the project menu and select new print layout and give it a title, maybe a sample map. When you select a new print layout, what you get here is this kind of a window with no map, nothing on it. From here, you can actually then add maps by selecting the add map menu, or you could go to the add item and select add map from here. Once you do so, you get your map on your artboard, and then now you need to add some other elements to it. So you would definitely want to add a legend to your map if there is one to it. My map is a very simple one here. It's a district boundary map, which is overlaid with the OpenStreetMaps. I don't want the OpenStreetMap to appear because I'm not showing that to anyone uh, in my map. So I remove that. And once I remove that, I remove the legend and I'll probably add the legend again. Once I do so, I only get the district boundary legend alone. The next thing that I want to show on my map to anyone looking at it uh, is the map scale. In any map, a scale is by far the most important of all elements. And this is something that I want to show on my map. So I'll select OK here, and it is an inch to a 500 kilometers sort of scale that I have added to my map. I could drag it around and place it where I need to do so. The next item that I would add is a north arrow. So what I could do is I could just click here and add a north arrow to my map. And these are some of the important elements that you want to have on your map. If I look at this map, there's one thing that we usually see in maps that people sort of overlook is that the font size here is very small. So you might want to go into the advanced settings and change that. So if you would like to maybe change the width, the text formatting and everything, you have these options available at the bottom. Uh, that is important because the readability is an important element of all maps. You could do that, or alternatively, there's a way that I use. I just go to the project window and I export the map to image, and I select the area that I would like to export, maybe a part of the map or all of map. I copy it to my clipboard, open it in software like the one that I have here, Inkscape. You can get it online from the Inkscape website for free. So that should not be a lot of issue. I can't copy it here because I just disabled my uh, ability to copy between the two. Just let me cancel it here. Devices, shared clipboard, bidirectional. I'm going to go here and try to paste it here. Not working. Let me save it somewhere then. Draw the region that I want exported. Draw it on canvas. Just be sure that you don't crop out the important parts of your map. Uh, Save it into my downloads folder. Sample map.png. Here I go, import from my downloads. link it, place it here. Now, this is something that most people who make fancy maps usually do. What they do is they put their map here and then they do their, because they haven't changed the scale of the map, so everything is up to scale. And then they do the measurements on the map here. So what they would do is they would go to something called the measurement tool. Select a given segment, measure the length in kilometers, maybe here. It's around 150 kilometers. And this is being done for a map that is to be printed. Let me zoom in here so that we don't take a wrong measurement. I'll go to the measure tool again, select the distance in kilometers, pick a point here, draw a straight line, pick a point on the other end, make it kilometers, please. Draw a straight line here. So it's 154 kilometers. So if it's like slightly short of it, maybe it's going to be 150 kilometers. So what I do is I draw a new line from here, a straight line to here. And it's a bit tricky thing that I'm attempting, but this is something that is what we do, not like for maps that where measurements are very critical, but for maps that are for the walls where maybe a quarter of a kilometer would not matter much. So I would probably say that this is going to be slightly short of here, some point here in this particular district's zone, that my measurement is going to be of 150 kilometers. So what I could do is I could look for this particular spot in this map. And if I see it's somewhere here. So what I'll do is I'll take the draw line tool, pick it here, and draw a little short of it here. If you would like to zoom in further and have a look, you could do so. So this is how it is. It's almost the same as the last line that we saw. I'm going to select it and put it here. So 150 kilometer scale is not a good one for here for it. So I'm going to double click on this stroke icon at the bottom. Um, Increase the width to 1 so that it looks a bit bigger, maybe 2. And then I want it to be not 150 kilometers because that's what we saw there. I want it to be 250 kilometers or maybe 500 kilometers. So I'll transform it to a scale of 200 times the width. And I don't want it to be proportionally scaled. I just want to scale the width. And I'm gonna apply. So now it's representing twice the distance that I calculated. So this is going to become 100. Then there was this boundary line that was represented by something. So I'm going to draw yet another line here. For the legend part, I'm going to select on the stroke item, reduce the width a little, type in the legend element, district boundary. It doesn't look like good text to me for some very obvious reasons. So I'm going to, for this, reduce the stroke to 0. The fill is going to be there so that it looks like reasonable text. It's still not as readable as I would or you would want it to be. So what I'll do is I'll select here, increase the font to about something readable, not 22, that would be too big, but 18, and then place it at a good spot. It was 300. So if I like sort of transform it again to 50%, it will get back to 300. I don't want it 300. I want it 450. So I'll increase the size to thrice, and 450 kilometers is going to be a little aesthetically fine. with the map that I'm making. I'm going to select these objects, put them close here, because what I'm going to do next is try to add some more aesthetics to the map. Here, I'm going to select this and paste it, and the legend or the scale figure I'm going to mention. Now I want a north arrow in my map as well. And usually a north arrow should look good. I mean, if it's not a good looking north arrow, sort of, we don't need that map. That's again predictable. Mhm. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll select, so something has happened here. I will do a bit of a redo here. I lost my connection to my remote computer on which I'm using Windows. I'm going to view a grid here so that I can draw straight lines, and I'm going to enable the snap function. Once my snap is enabled, it will actually automatically create these nodes. And I'm going to go to the stroke type and create a good looking north arrow. So what I'll do is maybe this one is going to look fine. I need to increase the width so that it starts appearing like a north arrow. And now I have a lot of extra page, so I'm going to press Control Alt D, Control Shift D, or maybe document properties here, and I'm going to resize to content. So now it's going to look more appropriate, and I could then disable the page grid. Now my map would be a little more the way that I want it to be. This font looks a little out of place, so I'm going to make it about 12, and my map is going to start looking a little like it I want it to be. It could be, I mean, and the good thing about maps is that you can is like one thing that you need to always do on your maps is you need to put the aesthetics in place, the alignments in place. So you have this align option and distribute option here. You could align things as you like, and your map is going to start looking a little more appropriate. This is not a very complex map that we are working on, but I thought maybe I should mhm, introduce you to some basics maps before we get on to maybe complex maps. So this is a very simple map that I thought we could create. I'll reduce the stroke size a little here. It looks more like. And these kind of arrows, since they are not available in QGIS by default, so it's a good idea to use Inkscape to make your map appear more appealing for print purposes or for including in your thesis or in your documents, in your projects or research papers. Uh, I remove the favorites. So this is a little, and once you've done, you could actually either save the file, you can export the file as a PNG file. A good idea is to look for the DPI. I usually pick 300 for good quality exports, and then I could export it to maybe my downloads folder, which is here. I'm not naming it anything complex. I'm calling it bitmap. I already have a file bitmap there. Probably I did something some time ago. And once I go there, I'll be able to see my map here. So it's a little different from the map that you could make on QGIS, but nevertheless you could do. To add a little colors to these map, maybe you could probably go into the properties part and create a symbology. Now here the symbols are like simple plain, but I would like to probably do is I would like to categorize them on the basis of the size of the area. So we have an area value here. I'm going to try to classify it. I could reduce the number of classes if I want, but I won't do it. let it be like this for the time being. And this is how I map it. My map is going to be a little more colorful. These are the kind of maps that we know of as thematic mapping. And sometimes with weather data, data of the sort that has to do with rainfall, of the sort that has to do with maybe floods, we create these kind of maps. So this is something that you could do. If you would like to add maybe some attribute data to your table, you could do that as well. Uh, as of now, I don't really uh, need to do that, so I'm not doing it, but I could add some additional fields to it, and I could probably then work with that. Sorry, I'll just close this thing. I've selected almost everything on the map, so I do not need to do that. I'll remove this layer for now. These are, I mean, obviously not some exercises where you practically are creating complex geoprocessing based maps, but you're actually getting used to how the GIS software interface works. At any point, if you feel like you want to do something complex with your GIS software, that probably would not be QGIS, but that would be GRASS or maybe Map Server or maybe Cesium, where you would like to do the more in stuff, the more in sync or in fashion stuff with your GIS software. This, however, serves as a very basic starting point. And maybe in our following classes, we could probably do more with these software. My idea here was to just introduce you to some of the basic functionalities of these software.